Arsenal were absolutely magnificent against Manchester United. They controlled the game. They bullied Man United on some level and held them at arm's length. And really, it was men against boys, let's be completely honest. And they've put maximum pressure against Man City, obviously with 2 games to go for City, against West Ham on the final day, and of course Spurs. And every Arsenal fan around the world now wants their arch rivals to get some sort of result at the new White Hart Lane. It's going to be a huge game. Obviously, I'll be covering it on the channel, so make sure you check out my reaction to that game. Whatever happens, it'll be very, very interesting nonetheless. City yet to win in that fixture in the Premier League in that stadium. We have to talk about how good Arsenal were today. We're going to talk about the goal. Obviously, very, very good play between Trossard, Kai Havertz. But I have to talk about some standouts as well throughout that Arsenal spine. 1-0 away from Manchester United. It's hard for Arsenal. It really is. I think the weight of football history matters a lot. I believe in tradition. I believe in patterns in football. And I think how good have City been in the last 5 to 10 years, and we've never won in the Premier League at the new stadium for Spurs. These things matter. I really do think it does. And certain derbies, certain big games, Everton-Liverpool's another example where it's always one-sided towards Liverpool. And it's one-sided at Old Trafford to Man United. It's 1 win in 16 in the league for Arsenal many, many years ago now. So for Arsenal to go there in a crunch game, for Arsenal to go there as if it's Everton away, with all due respect, if it's Brentford away, it felt like Brentford really today for Man United. It felt like a flat, sterile performance. Really, really poor link-up play for Manchester United. I know they've got lots of injuries. But it's a side that are bereft of confidence, bereft of any belief that they can compete against this back four in particular. Højlund at points was just getting gobbled up by Saliba all day long. Let's just talk about the goal, because obviously it came relatively early in the first half, 20 minutes in. The ball gets played into Kai Havertz, who beats his man so easily. And Kai Havertz isn't a quick player. He has a yard of pace, which I think is a little bit underrated in his game. And he has a jink. He has a little bit of trickery about him that is, chronically underrated, I think, in his game. He can get away from a player in the first yard. Maybe he isn't the quickest sprinter in the world, but he's got a yard of pace, no question about it. And you have to sit there and say, the way he beat the Man United defender, it must have been Johnny Evans. It was a little bit embarrassing. Casemiro has to run across the face of the box. Obviously, as a City fan, I wanted that to happen so much because it's a relatively straightforward goal that I think Man United could have avoided. I know Casemiro is not a centre-back, but you have to be wary of who's coming around you, staying goal side, being active, being forward-thinking and trying to clear the ball. And sometimes the best centre-backs act as if they're the strikers. They run towards the goal with kind of power as if they want to try and finish off the chance itself. And obviously make a clearance. And Casemiro just had no action. He had no activity. It was flat-footed. He was passive. And Trossard nips in front of him and scores the goal. I think after that, look, you're expecting Arsenal to score. They've been magnificent away from home in the Premier League. Such an incredible record since the turn of the year as well. It must be 17 or 18 wins with only 1 loss and 1 draw since the turn of 2024. And we're nearly halfway through the calendar year. Absolutely crazy. But Arsenal have built a foundation since Fulham, since West Ham, where they're more physical than every side in the league. They've got so much more belief. They've got so much more power in their legs. They're such a fit side, Arsenal. They do such good work off the front. I think the way Trossard, Havertz and Saka pressed Man United when they had the ball, and they knew full well that Man United weren't able to get out from the back. They know Johnny Evans isn't clear on the ball. Isn't a clean pass with the ball. Delo, obviously playing on his weak side, and Wan-Bissaka isn't great. And they created a lot of a defensive foundation. We talk about kind of pressing as if it's an opportunity to win the ball high up and score a second, a third, or fourth. But sometimes pressing can just be maintaining a distance away from your goal. I know it sounds very simple, but Arsenal kept Man United pegged back. Man United at points, I think, by the end of the game had a bit more possession than Arsenal, but none of the possession felt direct. None of it felt dangerous, and Arsenal's backline rarely had anything to do. I think Raya came to punch a shot, punch a corner here and there, caught a few things. Didn't really have too much to do, and it says a lot about where Man United are. That at home they can't get the fans on side. Who obviously, look, Man United fans, what we say about them are good, better away travellers for sure, but there's something there for Man United. You got Garnacho running down the wing. You got Diallo's a fan favourite. You got Højlund, who had a few moments against centre backs, and there was nothing that Ten Hag could do. I know he's bereft with injuries and stuff like that, and the squad's very thin at the moment. But there's nothing that Man United side could do on the pitch to figure out how to cause issues. Whether it's playing that ball around the corner, whether it's a set piece. Look at how Bayern Munich managed to beat Arsenal across 2 legs. It never felt like there was any kind of computation within the game to understand how can we get something out of this result. And that is a testament to Arsenal. We have to talk about who played for Arsenal today and some standout performances. The back line, I think, is the best back line Arsenal have. Now, I think Tomiyasu was fantastic. Understated, and that says a lot sometimes. You don't always want these players to be making, big advertisements for themselves. Sometimes an underrated performance can be all you need from your left back, especially as a centre back playing out of position. Tomiyasu is fantastic. Ben White as well, physical, commanded the box when balls were getting whipped in for Arsenal. And Gabriel and Saliba, it's another clean sheet. Best centre-back partnership in the league. I don't think individually they're better than Ruben Diaz and John Stones, but I can't say that partnership is a better one than the Arsenal one, because it isn't really a partnership when there's always niggles and injuries and Ake coming in and Stones playing at right back here and there or popping into midfield. It's different. I think a total package relationship, I think Saliba and Gabriel is the best centre-back partnership in the league at the moment, and maybe one of the best in Europe. I think their Bayern Munich result will make them feel a little bit flat, that they could have done better to maybe keep a clean sheet, certainly in the away leg of that Champions League game. But this is the thing when you talk about Arsenal. So much opportunity to build. When we've seen sides go into Premier League campaigns and get close to winning it, then the following season maybe they have to sell a few players that are in their 29s, 28s kind of age category. You look through the back line, their average age must be 24, 25. The keeper's young. I know Thomas Partey is older, but Declan Rice and Odegaard is old, are young players. Saka's a young player. Martinelli, Jesus on some levels still quite young. Trossard. There are so many players here, and Jurrien Timber is still someone that doesn't get talked about enough, and his impact, which I think will be massive when he comes back from injury fully at the start of next season. This Arsenal side have got a massive platform to kick on next season, and maybe we do see Premier League title races kind of begin sometimes at the kind of beginning of the following season, if that makes sense. And Man City have put runs together when Man City knew there was nothing to win. Maybe Liverpool had won the league title or Leicester City had won the league title. And the following season built title-winning campaigns off of confidence from the back end of the previous season. And maybe Arsenal, if they come close, 89 points, will use it as a springboard to say, this is the time, this is the moment. We're going to just get 94, 95 points. We're more than good enough to do it. They're more than good enough to beat Fulham, West Ham, etc. Let's actually do it. Let's add a big striker up top. Another man maybe in defence to cover any injuries. I think Arsenal will be more than on their way. But throughout the side today, I thought Kai Havertz was absolutely fantastic. Linked up, played very, very well. Trossard and Saka had a lot of energy. We have to be real and say Dalot did keep Saka quiet for a large part of the game. But the total belief with Man United to kind of, okay, they're limiting Saka, but we can't do enough about Odegaard. We can't do enough about Trossard. And I think too many dangerous positions came from Arsenal today where Man United always felt like they were stopping the second going in, as opposed to try and get in that 1-1 draw, which I would have been dreaming of. And it now comes down to Spurs. It now comes down to Everton for Arsenal. And, of course, West Ham for Man City. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thank you very much for watching. Where do you think the Premier League title race will go? Is there any twists and turns in this narrative? Let me know, and I'll see you very, very soon.